Now in this video lecture we will go through theory of heterogeneous catalysis. Before this video lecture we have gone through intermediate compound formation theory, and intermediate compound formation theory successfully explained the mechanism of homogeneous catalysis, how homogeneous catalysis takes place when the catalyst is in same phase as the reactants, right? Now intermediate compound formation theory, which is of homogeneous catalysis, theory of homogeneous catalysis, has some limitations. First is it could not explain heterogeneous catalysis, right? And the second thing is it could not explain the activity of promoters and catalytic poisons. Promoters are that enhances the activity of catalyst, and catalytic poisons are that lowers down the activity of catalyst, right? So in order to explain these things, we have another theory, right, which is your adsorption theory, right? Theory of heterogeneous catalysis is your adsorption theory. So let's first note down two limitations of homogeneous catalysis, limitations of theory of homogeneous catalysis, which is intermediate compound formation theory. The first was it could not explain heterogeneous catalysis, and second is it could not explain activity of promoters and poisons. Poisons are catalytic poisons, right? Now we'll see how theory of homogeneous catalysis, which is your adsorption theory, could well explain these two things, right? These 2 points. So it's your adsorption theory, right? We have gone through in detail how adsorption takes place, right, on a solid surface. When a solid right is kept in air, how the adsorption of substances around it, the gases and other particles, takes place, right? How adsorption of particles surrounding a solid takes place, right? And we studied 2 types of adsorption. The first is physical adsorption, and the second was chemical adsorption, if you remember, right? Chemical adsorption is where the substance that gets adsorbed on the surface form temporary bonds with the surface of the catalyst, right? And the temporary bonds were due to the active centers, and those active centers are nothing but unsatisfied valencies or free valencies, right? If you want, you can go ahead and before going ahead with the adsorption theory, if you don't remember what is adsorption, you can just check the previous lecture, right, on adsorption. So as per the adsorption theory, right, what happens is, first let's see what is heterogeneous catalysis, right? Heterogeneous catalysis is when the catalyst is in different phase compared to the reactants, right? For example of heterogeneous catalysis is your oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide, right, in the presence of platinum, right? And the second is, here platinum is solid, these reactants are gases, right? And the second is hydrogenation of vegetable oils. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils takes place in the presence of finely divided nickel, right? Vegetable oil, right, which is liquid, right, will undergo hydrogenation, that is, it will react with hydrogen in the presence of nickel catalyst, right? Nickel is solid, so hydrogenation oil, this is liquid, right, and this reactant hydrogen is gas. It will form vegetable ghee, right? And one more thing, here finally divided, there is something called as finely divided catalyst. We always use the term finally divided catalyst, right? So what is finally divided catalyst and how it is different from normal catalyst, right? We will also understand this at the end of this lecture or during this lecture, right? So here it's, I'll just mention, it's finally divided platinum, right? And here it is, this is finally divided nickel, right? Now, as per the adsorption theory, right, the reactants get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst, right? Because we know that every solid will adsorb that the particles around it, right? So when the reaction, any reaction takes place in the presence of solid catalyst, in heterogeneous catalysis you will see that mostly the catalyst is solid, right? So when the reaction is taking place in the presence of solid catalyst, so solid catalyst will adsorb the reactant molecules, right? Adsorb the reactant molecules onto its surface, right? So when it will adsorb the reactant molecules onto its surface, right, when it will adsorb the reactant molecules, let's say A and B are reactant molecules, right? So when these reactant molecules will get adsorbed, right, will get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst, right, the concentration of these reactant molecules A and B, suppose A and B, right, are reacting, right, to form product P in the presence of catalyst C, right? So here the concentration of reactants is getting increased on the surface of catalyst, right? So what catalyst is basically doing, it's just providing a surface, right, for the reactant molecules, so that reactant molecules can come close to one another, that is their concentration can increase. And we know that as per law of mass action, the rate of reaction increases as the concentration increases. So here basically what catalyst is doing, its catalyst is adsorbing the reactant molecules, thereby increasing their concentration onto its surface, right? So increasing concentration will increase the rate of reaction, right? So here we'll just write that in adsorption, as per adsorption theory, the reactant molecules, the reactants get adsorbed on the surface, right, of catalyst, thereby increasing concentration of reactants on the surface of catalyst, on the surface, right? And as per the law of mass action, we know that rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration, right? Directly proportional to concentration. So increasing concentration will increase the rate of reaction, right? So this is it for adsorption theory, right? Now, since we said that adsorption is due to, this is just in brief, right? Now we'll look into details of it. We know that adsorption happens due to some active centers on the surface of catalyst, right? And those active centers are nothing but free valencies, right? So when you have a free valency, right, that free valency will easily react with the substance around it, right? So what catalyst is basically doing, catalyst, since it has free valency on its surface, right, it forms temporary bonds with the reactant molecules, right? So when reactant molecules form temporary bonds with the catalyst, right, it's kind of a complex, intermediate complex that gets formed when reactant molecules will form bonds with the catalyst, right? So now there is a complex compound or intermediate that gets formed between reactants and the catalyst, right? And this intermediate compound has much lower energy which energy, if you remember the effect of catalyst that we have done in chemical kinetics, we have something known as threshold energy, right? We have discussed this in previous lecture also. So what this intermediate compound which is formed between the reactant molecules and the catalyst has, this intermediate compound has lower threshold energy or lower activation energy, right? So what catalyst is doing here is it's providing an alternate path to the reaction, right? And in this alternate path, the threshold energy is less, right? When the threshold energy is less, that means the reactant molecules now need less energy to cross the energy barrier and form products, right? So rate of reaction will increase because of this new alternate path that is provided by the catalyst, and in this alternate path the activation energy or the threshold energy, which we call it as energy barrier, is low as compared to the catalyst reaction. Yeah, right. So it has, if you remember, if this is the surface, let's say it's nickel, right? Suppose this is nickel, and onto its surface, on the surface of catalyst nickel and on the sides, right, these are free valencies, right? These are free valencies, right? And it is on these free valencies that reactant molecules will get adsorbed, right? And what kind of adsorption is this? Since it's forming temporary bonds, right? Reactants are forming temporary bonds with the catalyst, right? This is your, since a bond is getting formed, so this is chemisorption, right? Right? So this is, the reactant molecules will undergo chemisorption, right? And we know that when a bond is formed, right, energy is released, right? So when energy is released, since a bond is getting formed here, right, so energy would be released, right? So this adsorption of reactant molecules on the surface of catalyst is your exothermic process. That means heat is released, right? So heat released in this process would be utilized in increasing the activation energy of the reactant molecules, right? So the heat that gets produced, right, will loosen the bonds between the reactant molecules, right? That will again activate the reactant molecules, right? So rate of reaction will increase due to this exothermic reaction that's happening at the surface of catalyst, right? So I'll just mention some points here again. I'll just mention chemisorption. We are aware of this term. Chemisorption occurs at the surface of catalyst, right? Due to which chemisorption, which is an exothermic process, right? Why it is an exothermic process? Because a bond is getting formed, right? Although it's a temporary loose bond, but a bond is getting formed, so heat would be released, so it's an exothermic process. And the heat released, right, in this exothermic bonding, in this exothermic reaction which is occurring at the surface of catalyst, that heat would be used to increase the rate of reaction. It will be used as the activation energy of the reaction, right? And it will lose the bonds between the reactant molecules, thereby activating the reactant molecules, right? So heat produced would be used to increase the rate of reaction, to increase the ROR, rate of reaction, right? ROR is rate of reaction, right? So now we have a hint how this solid catalyst is helping this reaction to occur at a faster rate, right? because whatever is happening at the surface of catalyst is due to these valencies, due to these free valencies, right? So these free valencies, we also call these as active centers, right? Now, and we are already familiar with this kind of a diagram, right? The activated complex that gets formed, right? Here I said that reactant molecules will get adsorbed on the surface, say C is the catalyst, right? So when these reactant molecules get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst, right, instead of directly reacting, right, so they are first forming loose bonds with the catalyst, right? So when a bond, say, is formed between A, B, right, and C, like this, right? So this is this, say this A and B gets adsorbed on catalyst C, right? So this is your activated complex, right? And this activated complex has low energy, low activation energy or threshold energy, right? Now, since it has low activation energy, right, this is, so this catalyst, what it is doing is it's providing an alternate path to the reaction to take place, right? So this alternate path has low activation energy, due to which more molecules would be able to cross this low activation energy barrier, or low threshold energy barrier, right? So more reactant molecules now would be able to form products, hence increasing the rate of reaction, right? First, if reaction is taking place this way, we are already familiar with this diagram, right? So now the new path that would be provided would be somewhat like this, right? And you can see that this has low threshold energy, right? If this is the energy of reactants, right, and this is the energy that reactants need to reach, right, without the catalyst, right? This is the energy, ETH, threshold energy, that reactant molecules need in order to form products, right? So this is the threshold energy barrier, and this is your energy barrier in presence of catalyst, right? So here you can see that this is the energy of the products, this is the threshold energy for uncatalyzed reaction. So this is your activation energy for uncatalyzed reaction, right? Now the new peak in the presence of catalyst is this, right? So the activation energy would be this much, right, which is this, right, and it's less than the original one without the catalyst. So it lowers down the activation energy and the threshold energy level, or the energy barrier, thereby now more molecules that even has energy equal to this would be able to cross the energy barrier to form products, right, thereby increasing the rate of reaction, right? Now this is your simple adsorption theory, right? Simple adsorption theory. Now we have one more theory, modern adsorption theory, which is not much different than adsorption theory. You have modern adsorption theory, right, which is again a it's like what I have told you here, that will come in modern adsorption theory. As per modern adsorption theory, the reactants diffuse towards the catalyst, right? Suppose this is the catalyst, right? Suppose this is the catalyst, right, and it has these active centers onto its surface. These are the active surface onto the surface of the catalyst and at the corners. So what the first step of modern adsorption theory says, that reactants will diffuse towards the catalyst surface, right? So reactants here A and B, right? These will diffuse, right? So we say reactants diffuse, right, towards the catalyst surface. This is your first point, right? The second is that reactants get adsorbed on the active site of the catalyst, right? And what are these active sites? These are the active sites are your free valencies, right? So these reactant molecules, right, will get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst like this. This A will form bond like this, and B will also form temporary bond with the catalyst like this, right? So now they have formed these reactants A and B diffused. Let's look at the first point. These reactants A and B diffused towards the catalyst surface. Here they formed temporary bonds with the catalyst, right? Adsorption, what basic temporary bonds are formed when adsorption takes place, like here. Adsorption, right, where temporary bonds are formed, right? Now the chemical reaction formed, the chemical reaction form an intermediate, right? Occurrence of chemical reaction forming an intermediate like this, same as this. So these reactant molecules are close, right? Since these, I said that it's combination of adsorption theory and intermediate compound formation theory. So here the reactant molecules right now are adsorbed on the surface. They have formed temporary bonds with the catalyst surface. Now they are close, right? And their concentration have increased on the surface. They are close, so the chances of collision between reactant molecules is high, right? Since their concentration have increased, so they form, what they will do, they will now in another step, it forms, these reactant molecules will form an intermediate complex with the catalyst surface, right? So it will form a intermediate like this, right? These A and B, since their concentration have increased on the surface, they will react, right? And at present they have formed a complex with the catalyst, right? Because A and B are chemically bonded with the catalyst surface also. So this is your intermediate formation, right? Intermediate compound formation. Now what will happen? Since this compound is formed, right, and this intermediate compound formation, this is a high energy, this is kind of a high energy intermediate complex. So it will decompose, right, to regenerate the catalyst and form products, right? So this will react, right? This will react and will dissolved from the surface, right? That is, it will get removed from the surface of catalyst, that is, it get dissolved, which is opposite of adsorption. When it gets dissolved, since this product have no affinity with the catalyst, so it will not remain on the surface, it will get dissolved from the catalyst surface, thereby leaving the catalyst surface for the fresh reactants, right? So this molecule, the AB molecule that gets formed, should leave the surface of the catalyst soon, so that the catalyst surface is again available for further reaction, right? So here this desorption will takes place, right? Desorption will takes place, wherein if this is the catalyst surface, right, the catalyst is regenerated, because what we say is at the end of the reaction the catalyst will get regenerated. When this compound, this intermediate compound will break, it will form product and catalyst. Here catalyst is regenerated. So we'll see this as per adsorption theory. The molecules that get adsorbed, this is an intermediate that gets formed when the reactants are adsorbed on the catalyst surface. It's like this, similar to this, right? Now, since this intermediate has high energy, right, so it will break to regenerate the product and the catalyst, to form the product and regenerate the catalyst, I'm sorry, right? So here, and how this will happen, how this step will happen? Through desorption, right? Desorption. Desorption is opposite of adsorption, where the product that gets formed, right, when the reactant molecules will come close to one another, they will react, right? And since this is the product, it has less affinity for the catalyst surface, because it's the product, it's the reactants that have affinity for the catalyst surface. Now this new product that gets formed, right, it does not have affinity for the catalyst surface, so it will get removed from the catalyst surface, right? So here you can see that the catalyst is regenerated, right, and thereby product will get formed like this product, and this product will get desorbed from the catalyst surface, right? Thereby regenerate, this is desorbed, and here this catalyst is regenerated, right? Catalyst now has come to the same position as we started when the reactants diffused towards the catalyst surface. So this product is dissolved, catalyst surface is recovered, right, same as it was before. Now we have new room, we have room for the fresh reactants, right? Now fresh reactants will again start the same process of diffusion and will form products, right? This is your theory of adsorption, modern theory of adsorption for heterogeneous catalysis, right? This is it. Now we said that it could explain the activity of promoter and poisons, right? How it could explain the activity of promoter and poisons? We know that we say that promoter enhances or increases the activity of a catalyst, and your poison will reduce the activity of a catalyst, right? So promoter will increase the activity of a catalyst, right? How it can increase the activity of a catalyst? Because one thing we know that a catalyst surface, the more is the rough, if the catalyst surface is rough, then it has more active centers, right? Since if this is the catalyst surface, if it is rough, right, if you rub it with something, then it will generate more free valencies. So more free valencies means rate of reaction will increase. So what promoter basically is doing is it's generating more free valencies, right? It's making the catalyst surface more rough, right? It's making catalyst surface rough, thereby generating more free valencies, which increases the rate of reaction by increasing the adsorption at the surface of catalyst. Now poisons, what poisons do? It reduces the activity of catalyst. For example, you have arsenic compounds reduces the activity of nickel catalyst, right? Why? Because what arsenic will do, since we know that catalyst increases the rate of reaction because reactant molecules get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst at active sites, which are free valencies, right? So when you take poison, right, a catalytic poison, then instead of reactants getting adsorbed on the surface at the active center, it's catalytic poisons that will get adsorbed on the surface of catalyst, thereby reducing the number of active sites for the catalyst. for the reactants, I'm sorry, right? So in case of poisons,